Hi, welcome to Grammar Compass with Sir Victor. Let us master English language together. Kindly reach out to us via our social media handles on the screen.
Welcome to another exciting edition on the clause elements. In this lesson, we are going to look at the adjunct as a clause element. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos. What is an adjunct? Let us look at this picture. What can you say? We have a subject, someone performing an action, but we can add more information about what is going on here. For example, we can add information about how the action is performed. That is the work of an adjunct. It adds extra information about the verb. The adjunct talks about the verb in terms of when, how often, or in what manner an action is expressed by the verb. For example, the bride danced beautifully. Which word over here is giving us information about how the bride is dancing? It is beautifully. Beautifully becomes our adjunct because it tells us how the action danced was performed. Another sentence, the teacher ate the food in the room. We have the teacher as our subject, ate as our verb, the food as our object that was eaten. But what information is this prepositional phrase giving? It is telling us where the action took place. We have the sentence pattern SVO, and then since this is giving us extra information about where the action occurred, we will call it the adjunct. In this sentence, they played the game yesterday. Can you guess the adjunct? Here we have a word that is giving us information about when the action was performed. That word becomes our adjunct. Can you guess the word? It is yesterday. So we have they as our subject, played as our verb. What did they play? The game as our object. And when was the game played? It is adding extra information about when the action occurred. We would call yesterday our adjunct. My grandmother prays always. My grandmother is our subject. This is the verb or the action that she performs. How often does she pray? She prays always. Therefore, always adds extra information about the verb. So we would call it the adjunct. Practically, that is the function of the adjunct. It gives extra information about the verb, about how the action is performed, where the action is performed, when the action is performed, even how often the action is performed. So words or phrases that give this information would be called adjuncts. Let us look at the features of an adjunct. These features are very crucial to help you distinguish adjuncts from other words and phrases that are not adjuncts. What is the first feature? The adjunct is not restricted in terms of number of occurrences, unlike the other elements, subject, verb, objects, and complements. The adjunct can occur as many times as we want in the sentence. For example, Prince sent his mother a gift. A simple sentence should contain a maximum of one subject, one finite verb, and a maximum of two objects. What about adjuncts? Look at this example. Prince sent his mother a gift kindly in the room yesterday after the party. Can you count the number of adjuncts that we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the adjunct is not restricted in terms of number of occurrences. It can appear as many times as we want in the sentence. Prince is the performer, our subject. We have our verb, which is sent. We have his mother, the indirect object. We have a gift, the direct object which directly receives the action sent. Then we have information about the verb. This one tells us the manner in which the action was done. This one gives us information about where the action took place. Yesterday also tells us when the action was done. After the party also adds information about when the action occurred. So the adjunct is not restricted in terms of number of occurrences in the sentence. Let's have another example. Amma became a nurse after her degree program last week at the graduation ceremony. We have Amma as our subject, and it is just one subject. We have became as our finite verb, just one verb. We have a nurse, which functions as our complement. because it refers back to Amma. Then we have other information about the verb in terms of when she became a nurse and where she became a nurse. After her degree program gives us information about when she became a nurse. Last week also adds to the information about when she became a nurse. At the graduation ceremony also adds to the information about where she became a nurse. Therefore, we have 3 adjuncts in this particular sentence. You cannot have more than one subject in a simple sentence. You cannot have more than one finite verb in a simple sentence. You cannot have more than one complement in a sentence. You can have a maximum of 2 objects, but for adjuncts, it can occur as many times as you want. We have just one subject, just one action that was performed, 2 objects, that is the indirect object and the direct object. But we can add different information or extra information about how or where or when this particular action took place. And all of the information that we will add will be adjuncts. To the second feature, the adjunct is optional. It can be removed without affecting the meaning intended, which means that you can remove an adjunct and you can still communicate how you want to. Let's have this example. Prince sent his mother a gift kindly in the room yesterday after the party. 4 adjuncts. This is giving us information about the manner in which the action was done. This gives us information about the place where the action took place. This gives us information about the time of the occurrence of the action, and this also gives us information about time. However, we can remove all of the adjuncts from the sentence and it will still make sense. It will still carry the import of our message. So for instance, Prince sent his mother a gift. It makes sense even without the adjuncts. But let us try to remove the other elements. Let us remove the verb. Can you say Prince his mother a gift? Wrong. Let us remove the objects. Prince sent. Does it make sense? No. Let us remove the subject. Sent his mother a gift. It doesn't make sense. But if you remove the adjuncts, it doesn't affect the sentence in any way. So that is one unique feature about adjuncts. They can be removed from the sentence and it will still make sense. Let us have this example. Amma became a nurse after her degree program last week at the graduation ceremony. Amma is our subject. Became our verb. She became what? A nurse. Our complement. All the following phrases are giving us extra information about when and where she became a nurse. We can remove all of this and we will still have a meaningful sentence. We can say Amma became a nurse even without the adjuncts. So all that we are saying is that the adjunct is optional in a sentence. It can be removed and the sentence can still make meaning. Let us look at the last feature of an adjunct. It is very mobile, which means it can be placed anywhere in the sentence, whether it is starting the sentence, the initial, whether it is in the middle or it is in the final or the end part of the sentence. Let us have these examples. After the party, Bismarck ate the food. Here, the adjunct comes at the initial part of the sentence. After the party is giving us information about the time when Bismarck ate the food. So, it is functioning as an adjunct. Let us have the same adjunct occurring in the middle of the sentence. Bismarck, after the party, ate the food. Where is our adjunct now? It has appeared in the middle of the sentence. This means that the adjunct is very mobile. You can move it to the middle of the sentence as well. Is it possible to move this adjunct to the end of the sentence? Let us see. Bismarck ate the food after the party. When did Bismarck eat the food? After the party. So the adjunct has appeared at the end of the sentence. Let us try to move Bismarck to the end of the sentence. After the party, ate the food Bismarck. It doesn't make sense. Therefore, Bismarck is not an adjunct. Let us move ate to the end of the sentence. After the party, Bismarck the food ate. It doesn't make sense. It is not an adjunct. Let us move the food to the beginning of the sentence. The food. After the party, Bismarck ate. It doesn't make sense. The adjunct has this special property of being able to move to any location in the sentence, whether initial, middle, or final. So now that we know how adjuncts behave, Let us move on to look at the linguistic items that can function as an adjunct. The first item that can function as an adjunct is the adverb or the adverb phrase. Let us have an example. Yesterday, she worked hard. Yesterday is our adjunct. It is an adverb because it is giving us information about time. Hard is also an adjunct because it is an adverb of manner. It is telling us how she worked. Therefore, we have the sentence pattern ASVA. Yesterday, an adjunct, adverb of time. She, our subject. Worked, our verb. And hard, our adverb of manner, which is also an adjunct. Therefore, adverbs can function as an adjunct. He laughs loudly outside. How many adjuncts do we have here? 2 of them. How does he laugh? Loudly. This is an adverb of manner, so it will serve as an adjunct. Where does he laugh? Outside. Therefore, this is an adverb of place and it functions as an adjunct. So we have the sentence pattern SVAA. To the next sentence, they visit us often here. 2 adjuncts after the object. Often gives us information about how frequent the action occurs. Often. So this is an adverb of frequency. Then we have information about where the action occurs. So we have an adverb of place over here, which is also functioning as our adjunct. So how many adjuncts do we have? 2 adjuncts. So we have the sentence pattern SVOAA. In this sentence, how many adjuncts can you count? We have 2. Sometimes and softly. So sometimes he speaks softly. Sometimes gives us information about how often the action occurs. So it is an adverb of frequency. Then we have softly, which is telling us the manner in which he speaks. Therefore, it is an adverb of manner. And adverbs function in a sentence as adjuncts. We have the sentence pattern ASVA. The S for he, the V for speaks, and then our 2 adjuncts. In this sentence, he quickly ran home. He is our subject. Quickly tells us the manner in which he ran home. So it is an adjunct. Run is our verb. Home is an adverb of place. Therefore, it is functioning here as an adjunct where the action took place. Let us have the last sentence. The children quietly played. The children is our subject. Played is our verb. But how did they play? Quietly. Therefore, this is an adverb of manner and it functions as our adjunct. So adverbs can perform the role of adjuncts. Let us look at the second linguistic item. It is the prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrases always begin with prepositions. For example, in the house, at the party, during the event, after the game. They are all prepositional phrases. They can function as adjuncts. For example, the cat under the table watched the bird through the window. The cat is our subject. Under the table is a prepositional phrase because it begins with a preposition. And what information does it give us? It gives us information about where the cat watched the bird. It is an adjunct. Therefore, this prepositional phrase is functioning as an adjunct because it provides information about where the action occurred. We have our verb, which is watched. The bird suffers from the action watch, our object. And what is the manner in which the bird was watched? Through the window. Therefore, this prepositional phrase is giving us information about how it becomes our adjunct. So we have SAVOA pattern. Under the table gives us information about where. Through the window gives us information about how. Therefore, these prepositional phrases are functioning as adjuncts. In the second sentence, the hikers, with their gear secured, began the journey. The hikers becomes our subject. With their gear secured gives us information about how they began their journey. Therefore, it is functioning as our adjunct. It is a prepositional phrase because it begins with a preposition. So prepositional phrases can perform the role of an adjunct when they give us information about where, how, and even when an action occurs. Began is our verb here, and the journey becomes our object because it suffers from the action began. In this sentence, in the morning becomes our adjunct because this prepositional phrase is giving us information about when. She is our subject, jogs our verb. Where does she jog? Around the park. So this provides us information about where the action takes place. It is a prepositional phrase which functions as an adjunct. In this sentence, they met them at the library after the lecture. They is our subject, met our verb, them suffers from the action met, our object. Where did they meet them? This provides us information about where they met them. So it is an adjunct, a prepositional phrase functioning as an adjunct. We have another prepositional phrase after the lecture, and it provides us information about the time of the occurrence. Therefore, it is also an adjunct. The last sentence, with great enthusiasm, we bought a puppy. With great enthusiasm gives us information about how we carried out the action. Therefore, it becomes an adjunct. We, our subject, bought our verb, a puppy suffers from the bought, so it becomes our object. So prepositional phrases can function as adjuncts when they provide us information about where, how, when an action occurs. Let us look at the noun phrase that functions as an adjunct. This should also be a noun of time because adjuncts give us information about time. If it is not a noun of time, then it should be a noun of place where something occurs. Let us have an example. 2 months ago, we watched a football game. This is a noun phrase, 2 months ago, and it is giving us information about when we watched the football game. So it becomes an adjunct. Then we have our subject, our verb, and what did we watch? A football game, our object. In this sentence, next week we will begin the lesson. What do you think is the adjunct? It is next week because it gives us information about time. The old man traveled last year. What is the adjunct? It is last year because it is a noun phrase giving us information about the time when the old man traveled. So what will be the sentence pattern? Can you guess? It is SVA. The fourth sentence, we won the match 2 weeks ago. What do you think is the adjunct? 2 weeks ago. It gives us information about the time of the occurrence. So we would have SVOA. Now, let us look at the next linguistic item that can also function as an adjunct, and it is the adverbial clauses. These adverbial clauses begin with subordinating conjunctions and they express varieties of meanings. The driver reported himself when the accident happened. The driver as our subject, reported as our verb, himself as our object because it suffers from the action reported. What information is this WH clause giving us? It is telling us the time of the occurrence. Therefore, we will call it our adjunct. So we have a whole clause over here which is telling us time. And since it is functioning as an adjunct, we will call it an adverbial clause. It is a WH clause giving us information about time. So it is an adverbial clause functioning as an adjunct. In the next sentence, until he brings the stolen book, we will not go. Until he brings the stolen book is our adjunct. What information is this clause giving us? It is giving us a condition. Therefore, whenever a clause gives a condition, it becomes an adjunct. In the next sentence, the man placed the bag where Paul read the book. This is also a WH clause. And what information is it giving us? It is giving us information about where the action occurred. Therefore, we have the sentence pattern SVO as our direct object. Where Paul read the book gives us information about place. Therefore, it becomes an adverbial. It is functioning as if it is an adverb, and we will call it A. our adjunct. Unless the government pays me, I can't buy anything. What information is this clause giving us? Unless the government pays me, I can't buy anything. It is also expressing a condition that must be fulfilled before the action takes place. So it becomes our adjunct because it is behaving like an adverb. That's why we call them adverbials. They behave as if they were adverbs. Although John is poor, he has built a good house recently. How many adjuncts are in the sentence? We have 2. Although John is poor is an adverbial clause of concession. Therefore, here, although John is poor is commenting about the verb in terms of concession. So it will be an adjunct. And we have our subject, he has built, our verb. What was built? A good house, our object. And when was the house built? Recently, our adjunct. In the next one, since we were tired, we stopped reading. What information is this giving us? It is giving us a reason why we stopped reading. Therefore, subordinate clauses that give us reason behave like adverbs. So they are adverbial clauses. And in a sentence, they will function as what? As the adjunct. So we have our A, S, V, O. We is our subject. Stopped is our verb. What was stopped? What suffers from the action stopped? It is reading, which is a gerund suffering from an action. The student studied hard, so he passed the exams. The student becomes our subject because it is the performer. Studied becomes our verb because it is the action. Hard becomes our adjunct because it is telling us how the person studied. But what about so he passed the exams? It is giving us information about the results of the action that took place. So the whole of this is a subordinate clause. It is an adverbial clause because it is giving us information about results. So it is an adverbial clause of result. So all adverbial clauses of results like this one will function as an adjunct in a sentence. It gives us information about the results of an action. The next one, she speaks as if she is the queen. What information is this giving us? It is telling us the manner in which she speaks. Therefore, we have our subject, our verb, and a whole clause giving us information about the manner in which the action takes place. So it becomes an adverbial clause of manner. Intrinsically, it is not an adverb, but it is behaving as an adverb. That's why we call it an adverbial clause. So these clauses behave like adverbs and they function as adjuncts whenever they appear in a sentence. The last one, Mr. Amponsan came home to settle a dispute. What is the clause pattern? We have Mr. Amponsan as our subject, came as our verb, home as our adjunct because it is giving us information about where the action took place, adverb of place. Then we have to settle a dispute. What information is this to infinitive clause giving us? It is telling us about the reason why Mr. Amponsan came home. Therefore, we have adverbial clauses of reason. And this is an example. To settle a dispute is the reason why Mr. Amponsan came home. So it becomes our adjunct. Now that we've seen the linguistic items that can function as adjuncts, let us solve these questions. Pause the video and determine the sentence pattern of the following constructions. Let us solve these questions. Here are the answers. We have our A, which is yesterday, adverb of time. We have S, which is the subject, we. We have our verb, elected. Our object, James, because he was the person elected. Then a cause rep refers back to James. So we have our C, ASVOC pattern. Let's move on to this one. We have SVAA pattern. How? S stands for our subject, which is she. Came becomes our verb. Outside becomes our adjunct because it is an adverb of place where the action took place. Then we have when her mother arrived, and it is functioning as our adjunct because it is giving us information about time. It is an adverbial clause of time. Therefore, it functions as an adjunct. SVAA. The third one, every day the men work hard to earn a living. What is the sentence pattern? It is ASVAA. Why is it so? Every day gives us information about how frequent or time of the occurrence. The men becomes our subject, so we have AS. Work becomes our verb because it is the action. How do they work? Hard. So this is an adverb of manner, our A, which is our adjunct. So we have ASVA. What about to earn a living? It is giving us information about reason why they work hard. Why do they work hard? To earn a living. Therefore, it is an adverbial clause of reason. It is functioning as our adjunct. So we have two adjuncts, hard and then to earn a living. In the fourth one, we have SVCA pattern. My landlady becomes our subject. We represent it with S. Has become becomes our verb phrase, which functions as our verb. A dentist refers back to my landlady, so it becomes our complement. Just recently is an adverb phrase, and it is giving us information about time. Therefore, it becomes an adjunct A. So we have SVCA pattern. Let us move on to this one. He usually plays his music loudly. What is the sentence pattern? It is SAVOA. Let us break it down. He becomes our subject, usually becomes our adverb of frequency. Therefore, it functions as an adjunct. Plays is our verb. What does he play? His music suffers from the action play. It becomes our object. And how does he usually play his music? This is an adverb of manner. Therefore, it functions as an adjunct. So we have SAVOA pattern. Congratulations if you got all of them correct. You can re-watch this video as many times as you want. Bingo! We've completed our SVOCA patterns, our subject, verb, object, complement, and adjunct functions. So we are done with clause elements. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to show us some support. Activate your notification button so that you don't miss any upload from the team.